All right, we're joined now by our Vancouver Bureau Chief, Farhan Lalji. Farhan, we just heard from Rick Tocchet. Not great news for Thatcher Demko. Tocchet calls him week to week. Game one without him obviously wasn't the result the Canucks wanted. How do you see things going forward?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Canucks are going to have to lean on Casey DeSmith here. He's been down this road before, had to take over at various times in Pittsburgh, did have a playoff appearance there back in 2022 as well, played very well. And tonight, he was fine. He wasn't necessarily the reason they lost when you look at what Vancouver was able to do at the other end. But tough way to start the game. The fans are chanting, "Let's go, Casey," in behind him, and he gives up a goal. It was a shot from distance that deflected. He was playing a backdoor tap-in, potential possibility, and didn't necessarily see the stick in the lane that got deflected and wound up with that goal. And then the third goal, gives up a rebound. There was a shot in tight. Hard to blame him for the rebound, but rebound control is kind of a thing that you want him to be a little more consistent with relative to Thatcher Demko. But look, this guy's a player that's going to work hard. He's not going to play outside of himself. He's a player that's really well liked in the locker room, understands the system, has gotten better under Ian Clark, but he's also not Thatcher Demko, and that's no fault of his own. Rick Tocchet said this morning, we don't need him to be Thatcher, we just need him to be Casey. Might that mean you need one more goal a game offensively? Potentially. He was not the reason they lost tonight. One goal just wasn't good enough when you look at the opportunities Vancouver had tonight.
Well, speaking of opportunities, disappointing performances all around for the Canucks in game two, but a lot of the attention will be on Elias Pettersson, surely among Vancouver media on Wednesday. How would you assess his performance in this loss, Farhan? I know for Rick Tocchet, he said he's just got to get back on his horse and play the way he can play.
Yeah, and Rick Tocchet also said that this is a good learning lesson for him and that he hasn't been through this before. Yeah, he had a successful 2020 playoff in the bubble, but you don't have fans, you don't have the pressure the way it is now, and you also don't come into this game with just one goal in your previous 14. So, he was a little bit more noticeable, he was a little involved more offensively, but this is a player that's just not comfortable and not confident right now. Every time he needs to shoot, he seems to want to pass. Every time he needs to pass, he typically shoots, and generally it's wide. I mean, it's just not there for him. You saw the wide open net that he missed late in the first period. Certainly could have changed the game if he scores in that situation. And then on the third goal that Nashville scores, he turns the puck over at the blue line, and they're able to take it back. Pettersson himself said after the game that I'm my own worst critic. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I'm going to really take a lot of the blame for this loss. But you can see it even in other times, not just at the end of that period when he misses the open net and he falls to his knees, but there's some other moments where a pass just doesn't go his way or something doesn't happen, and you can see the shoulders drop, bad body language, and it's just a player that needs something, anything to go right for him right now, and maybe it'll flip the switch, but right now he's fighting it as much as anybody.
The series now shifts to Nashville for Game 3 on Friday. Farhan Lalji, I love having you on the show.
Well, then do it more often.